Hey everybody, welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley 412, 14 game slate, and we are going to cover every single pitcher. We're going to try to do it. We'll see what happens here. I do have the sheet that we'll be pulling up a little bit later on. But yeah, we're going to try to go through every single pitcher. But first, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. It's just incredible the support that we've been receiving here. So thank you. Truly, I really do. And I speak for everybody at FSI. We really do appreciate it. But yeah, so let's just dive right into the pitchers here. Pay attention to weather. I'm recording this the night before, as you can see on the timestamp. So yeah, things are going to change possibly, but let's just go in. Strider, 12.5K. He's facing the Angels. They're an above average offense for sure. But Strider, he routinely gets double-digit strikeouts, and the Angels strike out a ton. They're actually a top 5 strikeout team since June 1st at 25% strikeout rate. Do we need him? No. I mean, there's plenty of other options on the slate that we can go to. Is there value? Yes, absolutely. I think there's going to be some value on this slate. There's a whole lot of pitchers that I'm going to have some interest in all throughout the salary tiers. Guy below him, Valdez, he's got the exact opposite matchup in terms of he's facing Cleveland, who is the lowest strikeout rate team in the league, only 17%. He's a GPP play at best. Lopez for Minnesota going up against St. Louis, 12.8K. What St. Louis team shows up here? That's really the big question. I think he's a fine play. I don't think he's number 1 or number 2 among these top 5 salary tier guys. But I mean, if you land on him, sure. If he's in your player pool, awesome. But yeah, I just don't know which St. Louis side is going to be showing up there. Gallen's actually going to be my number 2 guy amongst these top 5 most expensive pitchers. Facing off against San Francisco, they are right behind the Angels in terms of strikeout rate. They strike out a whole lot, 6th most in the league, 24.6%. Gallen, he struggled with the home run ball as of late, but now he gets that great ballpark boost going into San Francisco where it's just home runs go to die, essentially. So he's already faced San Francisco so far this season. He had a 25 DK point performance. So, I mean, he's certainly capable of shutting this team down, and I really like him here in this matchup. Eflin, I really don't have a whole lot of interest in him at all. He's got a pretty short leash. It's tough to pay up for a guy 5 figures on a guy who has a short leash. Freddie Peralta, this guy made me eat my words last time out. I was like, yeah, he shut down Cincinnati, but there's no way he's going to shut down Cincinnati twice. He did. He did. So I fully admit it, I was wrong on that one. But still, it doesn't stop the fact that he has allowed 3 or more earned runs in 9 of the 11 other starts prior to that. Now he faces off against Washington. Washington is right at the bottom with Cleveland in terms of one of the lowest strikeout rate teams in the league. Still, he's got crazy good upside. He's just got a tough strikeout matchup. He's shown that he can shut teams down, but he has also shown that he can let up some runs too. So he's pretty much GPP here at this point. Bryce Miller, facing off against Boston. Upsides there, floors kind of been lacking. Right below him is Steele. I just don't like to play anybody against Cincinnati. It's kind of like I don't like to play anybody against Atlanta. Don't really like playing anybody against Cincinnati, so he's kind of a no for me there. Rodon going up against Tampa Bay. Yes, Tampa Bay has been struggling a whole lot more on offense. But Rodon, he's still kind of getting warm up, getting back into the groove of the season after that big injury that he had. So I'm still not fully on him, especially at that price tag of $9,000. Bello, he's kind of fallen off here as well. His strikeout rate has completely plummeted. But now he's got a great rebound spot. Going to be going up against Seattle, 2nd highest K rate in the league versus right-handed pitching. So I think that he could be a great play in just kind of like a rebound spot moving forward here. Bradish right below him. He's been solid this season. And honestly, like throughout the season, he's been priced too cheap on DK. However, he has gotten that salary boost. This salary has caught up to him at 8.7K. Tough matchup against Toronto. He did play them earlier on the season. He went 7 innings, only 1 earned run, but he only had 1 strikeout. So, I mean, he got really lucky with the BABIP there. Do I think he's only going to get 1 strikeout? No. Yeah, Toronto doesn't strike out a whole bunch, but I do think he's a fine play if you do end up on him. If you want to have him in your player pool, if you're building many lineups. Cobb right below him, kind of similar to Bradish in terms of he has played his opponent, Arizona, one time so far this season. He also went 7 innings. He allowed 0 earned runs and only got 3 strikeouts. It's kind of a pretty similar game there. He's got great home road splits. So I really do like this matchup for him here. He's got upside. He's in the player pool for me, absolutely. Lynn, this is probably the most intriguing play, I think, on this slate. He has been traded. He is now on the Dodgers, and he's got 35-point upside, but he's also got a floor of like 2. He's got a great matchup going up against Oakland, but it seems like throughout the season, I don't know if you guys have felt this way as well, but like these are the spots where Oakland just frustrates you and their offense comes together. Lynn, we've talked about him before. Like, well, I guess that was when he was on Chicago. He didn't have, if he was really struggling, they were not pulling him. He was going 100 plus pitches. Maybe the Dodgers management is going to be pulling him back a little bit more when he's really struggling, but who knows? Maybe not. But still, Lynn, I think he's probably he's not the decision maker. It's a 14-game slate. There's so many other options, but I think he's a very intriguing play on this slate. Lively, nope. Allows a lot of hard contact. Sandoval, nope. Don't want to play anybody against Atlanta. Ryu, he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. Already don't like guys coming off the IL. I really don't like playing guys who are playing their first major league start after coming off of Tommy John surgery. So not too much interest in that. Manning, I think he's really intriguing going up against Pittsburgh. He got blown up in his last start against the Angels, allowed 3 home runs, allowed 7 earned runs because of that. However, Pittsburgh, they really do not have a whole lot of power. They're actually a bottom 4 team in terms of ISO, in terms of generating that kind of power. And they, at the same time, they are the 6th. They're right there with San Francisco in terms of strikeout rate. They're 6th against right-handed pitching. So they strike out a ton. They don't have a whole lot of power. I mean, that's going to fit right into Manning's wheelhouse there. I think it's a fine play. Mikolas, I don't know if Mikolas is starting at this point in time. DK has him here. He is appealing the suspension. He's the guy who threw at the Cubs batter, blanking right now, got tossed in the first inning. He's appealing the suspension. So MLB has him as to be determined at 9:53 at night on Monday. We'll see. If he is starting, I mean, he's facing off against Minnesota, the highest strikeout team in the majors, by a large gap. They're near 30% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. It is crazy. The only issue is that Mikolas just does not strike a lot of guys out. Is the Minnesota strikeout rate going to boost that up a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. Probably not a whole lot, though. But, if he is starting, going to have a little bit of interest in there. Williams, he's struggled against anybody that's not named Kansas City so far in his brief stint in the majors, so not too much interest there. Heaney, I think it could be popular. His recent form, he's really struggled. Doesn't have a whole lot of Ks. Like, his K rate is plummeting. But if you look at like his 4 matchups here, I'll pull up his 4 matchups. He's faced off against the 2 lowest strikeout rate teams, Cleveland and Washington. Already talked about that. And the Dodgers and Houston, 2 other teams that are just, they don't strike out too much. They're terrible pitching matchups. It is slightly concerning when you have the same amount of walks as strikeouts in your past 2 starts. But again, like he's had tough matchups. But Heaney, like he's got the strikeout upside. It's there. White Sox shouldn't really be scaring you too much, but high ceiling, low floor with Heaney. Gray, yeah, sure, he's kind of there. Oviedo against against Detroit. I kind of like this a bit, be completely honest. Now, Oviedo, he's got some control issues, for sure. But Detroit, they actually have one of the lowest walk rates among any offense in baseball. So, I mean, boost to that. And Detroit's a top 4 strikeout team. So, boost to that as well. So, I think it's 6.2K. Like, Oviedo has shown throughout the season, like, he can have these 21, 22, 23, up to 30-point DK games. He's also shown a pretty low floor as well from time to time. But I do think that the matchup at home, the price tag, I actually kind of do like Oviedo quite a bit here. Everybody else, yeah. I'm not playing Coors at all. Waldichuk, this is a to be determined. I don't know if he's even starting. Not playing anybody against Texas. I cannot play Greinke as a DFS player. And Quintana, again, it's against KC, yeah, 6.1K. Yeah, he's there. So let's look at the pitchers. I did it. I can't believe I actually did it. I have no clue how long that took. I apologize if I was talking really fast. Bump the speed down to 0.75 or something. But this is kind of where the pitchers are at, in my opinion. This cheap tier here, Manning, Mikolas, Heaney, Oviedo, Gray, I adjusted this and I flipped it up and down probably 5 or 6 times. I could not decide who I like the most in this cheap tier, but I like quite a bit. I like Mikolas in his matchup against a super high K rate. He just doesn't strike out a whole lot of guys himself. Manning, I already talked about how much I like. I honestly might put Oviedo much higher. I think I do want Oviedo higher than 4th in this cheap tier. But high tier, Strider, Gallen, Lopez, I think that was pretty obvious. Peralta's definitely got that upside for sure. Eflin and Miller are there to kind of round things out. Again, not really too much interest in Valdez. Mid-tier, Cobb's going to be my favorite. Lynn, right at behind him, just because of what Lynn can do and the matchup that he is in against Oakland. Bradish and Bello kind of rounding things out. Everybody else is just kind of like a fade, no interest. Again, fading Rodon, fading Ryu coming off the Tommy John, fading Coors Field, fading Greinke and Schlotens. I mean, it's kind of what it is. Now, I did not get to the bats yet, but I mean, I'm extremely tired. I'll apologize in advance. I did not get much sleep last night, so I'm very tired. I want to get to bed, but I do have a work conference early in the morning, so I haven't been able to get to it. But pretty much the main gist is your biggest favorites are Atlanta, Texas, Houston. It is a Coors Field slate, so pay attention to Coors Field. The Dodgers going up against Oakland, they should have like a crazy high implied run total. Let's see. Let's just see what these salaries are on the Dodgers. I admit I haven't looked at the bats yet. Oh man, it's a double scroll kind of slate. Apologies. There we go. All right. Ooh, dealing with some injuries here, but I mean, if some of these guys are out, these are some very cheap price tags on these guys. I know, some of these guys are a lot of left-handers down here, but if they are going up against Waldichuk, I think that, this is just far too cheap for this stack, especially going up against that Oakland bullpen. I do think that Dodgers could be quite popular there. And then Atlanta, obviously, their GPP, slate breakers and everything. Let's go back to the pitchers. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head here. Obviously, it's a Coors Field slate. I don't know what Coors Field, what the pitchers are. Both are going to be to be determined. I don't even know if they're going to get the game in tonight, or if that's been postponed or not. Yeah, I kind of went through and I have a lot of interest in a lot of these pitchers, so I feel like outside of the Dodgers, Texas, Coors Field, I really do think that I'm not just picking the lowest guys. I do think that there's just a lot of solid pitching options on this slate. So I apologize that it's not the greatest in-depth look, but hey, we covered all the pitchers, so hopefully you guys can make some decisions from there. So again, thank you for watching. Really do appreciate it. We'll be back on Wednesday with another video for you. Please, again, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to get to 5K. Hope you're enjoying your night. Hope you're going to have a wonderful day on Tuesday, and let's just keep it going. See you.